most Facebook and other large platforms make their money off of user engagement. Since Facebook makes money off of their users, what power do we actually have, and how can we use it to create change? So you all talked a lot about wins, but this and I the way in which I approach work, I approach work looking at the potential around. There's 3 billion users, and if we can even get 10% of users active, you know, having everyone has an analysis around how they feel about Facebook. Many people know it's terrible, but activated around, hey, I actually have power. What would that look like for you?
Hmm. I can start on this one. Just because this has been my my work for the last little bit. So yeah, I think first starting out, even getting people to realize that they do have power when it comes to social media platforms and these ones in particular that are huge. That is the first step. And so even just saying, hey, you actually do have power because Facebook, Instagram, like all run off of these ads that are targeted towards us so that like we buy the things that keep this company rolling, right? I think we're kind of conditioned to be just grateful for the platforms and just think of them as just social media platforms. In reality, they are real communities and they are like this digital realm that we all live in. And so we do have the power, but also we deserve to have the power to be able to be a part of governing these digital spaces. So users make or break platforms. Period. That is what it is. We do all the content creation on these, and I think the things that we can do as users is to do everything from signing petitions from organizations like ours represented on this call, to joining user strikes or even finding any way to make your voice heard by company leadership. And I think the easiest way that I would suggest, like anyone who's watching this or will be watching this later, is to look at organizations that are doing tech accountability work. So, and look at them that are doing them from like an intersectional lens. So like, Ultraviolet, Kairos, Facebook Users Union, Change the Terms Coalition, like all of these groups are doing it. And there's like easy ways for you to get involved. But the first thing is to know that like you make or break Facebook as an individual person, as your community, and you actually can do something about it.
Yeah, everything Jelani said is spot on. Um, I think, having conversations with people in your lives is also really important, right? Taking those conversations that you may be having online, offline, and really start dialogues is really, really important when it comes to these types of things. Because I think we often feel that the online world is separate from the offline world, but it's not, right? Social media, the internet, they're part of our daily lives. The work, like the world that we've created online deeply impacts the world we have offline and vice versa. So have those conversations with people in your life. Like, I think it's so important to have conversations with adults, kids, students, older people, like, regardless of who you are and where you're coming from, talk about the fact that, hey, like, this is a corporation that makes money off of how many hours I stare at the screen or how many hours I engage with content. What can I do to hold them accountable? It's not necessarily about changing your behavior. If you want to be on the platforms, you should be on the platforms. And it should be a space that's safe. It should be a space that's comfortable, that where you don't need to be worried about being harassed, or you don't need to be worried about getting doxxed, or you don't need to be worried about getting trolled, right? Like, that is the idealistic version of the internet that I think people really started with. And the version we have now is not that. We want it to kind of get back to that if we can. So yeah, that would be my advice.